Okay, first thing on the agenda is the gravel screening bid opening at the road department. Looks like we have a single bid.
You do or you got it.
Is that right, Casey? Just
It's
one?
for chip seal.
Chip seal.
And it's just a generic 2,000 yards. That's kind of what we do every year.
Come on in, open meeting.
The bid is from Donald Gull. And this is, let's see, target bid. If I can screen. Bid for 2,000 yards is $4.30 per cubic yard for a total of 8,600. And that's
It's right
a
in,
good price.
right in line with what, yeah.
What was it last year? Do you
I don't
remember?
have it in my
I
head.
wanna say
but
something like
it's-
425.
I thought this was maybe even less than.
Maybe it was 435. Yeah.
So I guess it would be my recommendation to award the bid to Donald Gull.
I would make a motion that we award the bid to Donald Gold.
I'll second that.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 And his David and Derek will be the ones doing it. not Donald. Derek will turn the bid in, so.
Where will they be doing it? At the sawmill or? where?
Parkview.
Tarkio. What happened to competition this year? You know, any rumors what Ricky Miller and other people?
Ricky's not mobile, so we usually normally don't have more than one bid. About 10 years ago, because all he did a couple times, he rented a plant, but I don't think he felt that it was feasible to rent a plant and do this. But we haven't had competition for 10 years. I honestly didn't think we'd get a bid this year because I didn't know because Derek's got a full-time job and David's doing this. I didn't know if they were gonna want to do it again. But I know last year they did it to help Don out, but because he can't.
Yeah,
Won't be any
he's-
problem with getting it delivered. I mean,
You guys do the haul.
yeah, but I mean, getting it done.
No. And last year they were right on it. I mean, they were ahead of schedule. And one thing I'm thinking about Derek Go is I don't think never heard of anybody having any bad dealings with him.
Good.
He's a hard worker.
Good.
I don't foresee any problems anyway.
Good.
And I'm actually relieved we kind of have a bid, so
Yeah.
I was a little worried about it.
Yeah, Ricky usually does the sanding gravel, doesn't he? He bids on the.
He usually
sanding
gets that, and
gravel.
then I would assume that this year, like when we go to do sand and gravel bids, which we'll do right after July, I assume there's gonna be more since there's more gravel pits here now.
Yeah.
I would assume Schillinger's gonna bid out a Warren pit. I would assume Riverside would offer up something, but I don't know. They never have, but I mean, when it comes to selling gravel, I would think that they would put in a bid, and then Ricky, obviously. Those are the ones I foresee. So 2, possibly 3, maybe for that. So another thing, I guess, real quick before we get into this dust abatement is scheduled for the 16th, 17th. So 2 weeks. So we'll get that all done and wrapped up.
What neck of the woods is this? Are you dust abating?
Same stuff we always do, from basically Deep Creek to Salties, different here and there, different spots. This year we were going to add 500 or 600 feet at the end of Tin Can Alley because I told Dwayne one day we were talking about the road issues and stuff because I didn't know about the whole mud bog thing. I was kind of behind the curve on that. So I said, well, one thing we could do on our part is we're doing the last 1,000 feet of Tin Can Alley. It wouldn't hurt to do that first 500 or 600 feet, from the end of the pavement to the corner there. And that would cover.
Illegal.
I watched the thing on YouTube, and what I seen where they're going to do their camping area, we could cover that spot with minimal cost. So anyway,
That'd probably help too.
Yeah.
well, I thought it'd be a good idea. That'd help ease tensions down.
Yeah.
And answer that lingering question of what's the county going to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to do what we can.
Yeah.
So, anyway,
What did your Bobcat hat?
that's our baseball.
I thought
for
it
the
was
baseball team.
it was an older variation of the MSU Bobcat.
No, we went strictly Bobcats on it. We didn't want to go Mountain Cats on it. Actually, the first year they made us. We were the Rockies. 'Cause you had to pick it and Major League Baseball team, and nobody
Oh.
liked that. So we said, "Screw it. We're just going back to the Bobcats."
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that's all I got.
Okie dokie.
They were talking about the, invasive mussel thing and that problem and everything. And before you launch your boat now, you have to have it inspected. It has to go through a watercraft inspection
Oh, really?
before it's launched in any Montana waters.
Well, do they provide an inspection station somewhere?
Well, you have to go to one, either the one at Dannemora, or
So if
the
I
one at
wanna-
Plains, or go to take it to Missoula.
So if I want to launch in the Flathead River, I'd have to drive to Thompson Falls first?
No, they have one there at Plains.
Yeah, right there in the old way
The
station.
old way
No,
station.
they moved
at
that
Plains.
one to Thompson Falls, to the
Oh.
fire station up there.
Oh, did
really?
they?
I
Because we always go to Finley, and they haven't had that one there for 2 years.
Oh.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I wonder how they're catching people going to the other lakes north of Hot Springs. Dog Lake, Rainbow Lake.
Well, I don't know.
Anyway.
It's just-
I bet they have one
There's
up
some
by
kind of a
Flathead.
tag that they put on, I don't know if it's your trailer or your something anyway, that you have to have it inspected before it's launched in Montana water.
Every time?
No, you
Just
get it
one?
inspected the one time and they put this tag thingy on there.
Well, this was done, that doesn't make sense to me, when you look at these inspection stations that Montana's doing. You go to Oregon and you pay a $15 fee when you get your fishing license or whatever. You get an invasive species fee and a tag on your license. You pay it, you're done with it. There's no inspection stations. Then they take that money and they put it towards curing the problem, rather than Montana's putting
That's
it
a
towards
novel
inspection
idea, isn't
station. Yeah, Montana's putting it toward the inspection stations they're not covering all the waterways, and all they're doing is looking for seaweed, and I don't know. I do know one thing: you don't want to transport fish in your live well,
Oh man, you can't even have water in your live
right?
well anymore.
Kirpus did that. What did he get?
Oh yeah.
$400
big
or
fine.
something?
Really?
Yeah.
I seen him in the mega fire
Yeah.
thing.
And a lot of times, well, it was
Didn't recognize
His dad.
his dad,
His dad,
Dennis.
Kirpus.
Oh.
Yeah, Kurt Kirpus.
It was expensive, and
Um,
I guess we used to. I never thought a thing about it.
But yeah, it actually, Dwayne, you do have to have it inspected every time you launch it, because they put a tag on don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. you
Not
said
every
no,
time.
but
Not every time. Once a year, she said.
No.
No, every time.
I think
Every time that boat comes out of the water, if you go to launch it, it has to be inspected again. They put a tag on it, so if you bust the tab, they have to re-inspect it again. So if you leave the water and they inspect it and put the tag on it, then you can take it home and then come back. When you go by the inspection station again, they'll just see the tag still on it, and then they won't re-inspect you again until the tab is broken, then you've been in the water again. Right? Not how you understood it?
They can't make you.
think
They can't make
so.
you inspect it every time you put it in the water, because that's not even reasonable. I mean, then that means we could never go to the Flathead River anymore, Flathead Lake anymore, because there's no inspection stations between here and Flathead Lake.
I'll bet there's gonna be.
Yeah,
I'll bet
there's
they'll
gonna
put
be.
one
But there's
at Elmo.
not. I mean, there has
But I'll
been.
bet they'll put one at Elmo.
No, I mean, that's the whole thing, is they're wanting to make sure that they don't get this thing
And that's what
west
they
of
said.
the.
So it was between like the boat and the trailer, so that, yeah. So,
I guess
What
I'll have
about
to
the
call them.
rafts?
Yeah.
The rafts too?
huh?
The rafts too?
They didn't say anything about rafts.
Yeah, but
Yeah, but
you're
you're
right.
putting a boat in.
Yeah.
They say they consider
Yeah.
anything that floats on water a watercraft, like kayaks and because we have a little 8-foot boat that we take to Finley, and the boys go over. It has to be inspected, or when they want to look at it when you pull through a.
Yeah, because right now this thing is only east of the Continental Divide, and Idaho and Washington are really worried about it, and so they're kind of making sure they don't
Yeah.
want anything to get west of our. So
Yeah.
Montana's trying to preserve the western half of the state, and yeah, they're going to great lengths to make sure. And so they do. I think they do want to make sure that every time that boat gets in the water, it's inspected again.
Yeah, they hired Like
I know somebody
150
said once they were
people
talking about
to
putting one at the
do
access.
inspections.
So maybe
Every
they'll,
access
maybe they'll
point
do
that
accesses at
inspector,
every
They, yeah.
junction, because they could do one right at
Yeah.
the T there.
We've got our
They-
cross
'cause I
arms in
know
down there.
they have one there at Rose Lake
Yeah,
now, then
yeah,
they've
I
never
got
had
mine
one
too.
there.
Mine are up
Did it?
and
Because I
running.
could come all the way home with their
Well,
boat and not.
they would
Do a
have
little work
to
down
man a lot more water if
get
they, if
those-
they were
They
going to
didn't put
require
any
that.
concrete,
because
mine's still a
They
wooden
couldn't expect
crossing.
someone like you or me
Oh.
to take our boat to
I
Mississippi
haven't
Thompson
driven
Falls
over
and
Every time you
inspect
have-
it.
every time
Every time you
you
want to go to the Flathead
Well,
River.
I can look across there,
Yeah.
they just finished it up there a little bit. You been out and looked at that,
What's that?
the railroad cross arms?
I've seen them. I went across it.
That's all I,
Yeah.
yeah.
We're gonna. That one and Sawmill's done.
Yep,
Well, they're not done. Did they get the concrete crossing?
no, it's still wooden.
So they're gonna put a concrete crossing in there. It's just not there yet. And then when they're all done, we come back and we have to pave those, or we'll put a hot patch on them or whatever. But we'll wait till they're all done and wrapped up. I've been kind of arguing with the railroad on some of this stuff because they expect us to pave and take care of the roadway every time they break a crossing open. And I don't agree with that. I think if they cut into the road
They
and
should
pull their
pave it,
ties, they should have to fix it.
Yeah,
But on these ones,
pave a mile.
on these
each
ones,
side.
it's in the contract that we fix it. In
Hey,
that contract that you guys signed.
Pave a mile on either side.
Yeah, no kidding. There you go. Anyway,
In that case, we'd just let them do the fishing access.
but no, they're moving right along. They didn't get the Dago Lane. It doesn't sound like that one's in the plans for this year. So
Oh, okay, I was wondering, because I thought that.
I asked Dustin about it. He said he thought that was like a
Next year.
2018 possibly.
Oh, good, because mine was way more dangerous than that one anyway.
Well, yeah, I'm just glad they're there. Like I said, it could have been a little common sense could have made that
A lot more
much
affordable.
better. You know, like I said, just if there was a train, like I had an idea when we went and looked at that if there was a train within a half mile of that crossing, that there'd be a light. Come on.
Mhm.
And they basically laughed me off the road that day when I said that. Oh, we can't do that. Okay, well, it makes sense. You know, at least you would say, hey, there's something close. Slow down early.
Yeah.
Pay attention.
Yeah, kind of like a yellow when it's within a half a mile, and then turns to red when it's last 1,000 feet or something.
Yeah, and that was, but that's not. It doesn't fit inside the federal regulations. So.
No, feds are always smart,
But
we know that.
we got arms on it now, and
We got
now
proof
you'll
of
know.
that.
As far as the update on the road, I guess we have our blades up west. We're done sweeping everything from St. Regis to Alberton. It'll be going west next week.
Looks good.
We do got a class in. I'm taking the boys to, well, except for Wayne. Wayne will be gone, but I'm taking the boys to Hamilton for a grader. There's a grader class going on the night, Tuesday, I believe. So
Mhm.
Is that all joystick? In that cap?
the new one is, yeah, it's just two joysticks. There's no steering wheel or anything. But I don't know if we're technically behind yet because the winter was so and the spring was so wet and the winter was so wet and long. But
Yeah.
we're doing okay.
Yeah.
Didn't have no major washouts or nothing.
We have some we have to fix.
Yeah.
Rivulet's got one that, big slough, and it's really, it's only a foot or so into the road, and we had one on Tamarack we had to fix where the creek washed almost into the road. Well, it was eating away the bank pretty good. We had one at Lozo Crossover Road that we put some gravel in. We had one on Fish Creek right by Ollie's field that we patched it with cold patch just to get the crack was sealed, and then we'll put a hot patch there. Lots of cracks this year. Just
Yeah, a
lots
lot
of,
of really bad
just
cracks.
it's just the moisture. I mean, we just so much moisture.
One of the residents of Tamarack was wondering if you were gonna blade in again.
It's all done, but it will be on it on the 16th for the dust abatement. But
He said-
Wayne bladed
He
a
said it
lot
was
of.
pretty roughed up again already.
No,
I haven't been out
I
there.
was on it yesterday. It was not bad. And then I talked to Nate about the logging because the 7 meg sale is going on. They're going to be coming down Tamarack Creek and they're going to be coming down Camel's Hump. So I talked to Angelo just a little bit, and I talked to Nate a little bit about. Angelo wondered about restrictions. I said the only restriction we'll have, besides being muddy on Tamarack Creek, would be kind of a speed restriction maybe on, you know, a little bit on Tamarack Creek, like down, passing from the cattle guard down, and then Camel's Hump, a speed restriction, so we don't get them going 65 miles an hour down the road.
Yeah,
But other than that, I
that's
think
not
we're
a
good
bad
to
idea.
go.
I don't know.
But they will increase the traffic, so
Has there ever been a speed limit on Camel's Hump?
I don't know.
I don't never remember.
I
a sign
could tell
ever-
you right now, I couldn't even tell you if there's one on there, but if there's not, we should put one on there. We will put one on there.
Service blading maintenance project agreement. Brian, you must be Brian Story.
Yeah,
Nice to meet you. There's coffee back there.
I had a pretty good shot of it coming in.
Okay.
How are you, Brian?
I'm good.
Good.
Good. Yeah, so Nate, you weren't here, Roman, but Nate and I were out here about a month ago and went through the Schedule A master agreement. And what we were going to do is put together a project agreement out of that to do blading, and primarily blading, but also just some equipment cleanup for all the Fish Creek Road, West Fork Fish Creek Road, Sierra Iron Mountain Road, and a little bit of Nemoti.
Oh, good. Fish Creek Road. That's good to hear. I thought that was like, you own it. You own it. You take care of it.
Yeah, and so what I have today is a project agreement that basically covers, it would cover this work, but could also cover work in future years also. I wrote it kind of general for all those roads.
Mhm.
And what I want to do this year is, out of those roads, we have about $30,000 that we can pay to have the county do work through the
Oh.
agreement. We thought we just had 15, but Nate scrambled together a little bit more. So the agreement I brought today is kind of a master, and then I would come back depending on how you wanted to do the work, if you're agreeable to it. I could either write like a kind of a bid package like we've done in the past, or that was kind of my plan.
Yeah, that's what we want to do. We'll bid it. We're not going to have time to lay that, so.
Yeah. So
How many miles total?
of blading, it was about, well, Fish Creek's like 20 some, so 30 or so.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's a bunch, and I haven't totally finalized, like I drove through the Sierra Iron Mountain Road this morning. I kind of need to final what needs to be done. I don't know if that one needs to be bladed, but I'd rather just put some equipment time on it. So I'm kind of finalizing, if, like, assuming the agreement's good to go, what I want to do this year. Gone close, but, so, I brought 2 copies of the agreement, if you want to go through them.
Me and Wayne can share.
So Jason, this would be done like we did the,
It's the same deal as we've done before. The project agreements basically they give to us. If we wanted to do them, we could. The money's there to bid those out, and that's the way we've always
okay,
proceeded with it.
similar to what we did up
Right, and
Party.
I brought, these are rough, but they at least show the roads. I haven't finalized, I guess,
So-
exactly what I want on all the roads.
I suppose you're the 9 mile side, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I wonder what Jared's got going on the Camel's Hump project. I wonder if he's working on that.
For the timber sale?
No, for the road, there was
Oh, yeah,
and
I
there
don't
was
know.
another project
Right.
agreement for the.
I thought that, well, I actually don't know. Last time.
Oh
I talked
well,
to him.
and maybe we'll talk to Nate too or something. I don't know where that one went because that one was last year's and it hasn't.
Mhm.
I know we chatted about it, but it hasn't. I haven't heard anything
About-
on it.
I
The
haven't-
Camel's Hump one. The
Yeah, did
ditch
they ever
cleaning
clean
and
that
the-
out?
No.
No?
No, we haven't. I haven't heard any more on that. So, but that, I think it's still out there. I mean, I think it's still floating.
Yeah, I know. I mean, last time I heard was we were at the, whenever it came out last, was it 2 months ago or a month ago?
Mhm.
Nate basically told Jared to work on it.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know if he's had time.
Gotcha.
or how
Okay.
far
Well,
he's
maybe I'll talk to him too and just see what is.
So that was their plan,
What
but
the
it was
plan
also
is.
to do it like before the road opens, right? You want to.
Yeah, and I would think you could. I would think it's got to be getting pretty close to being able to drive over that. So.
So I'm.
Yeah, I haven't been up there, I would think.
I came up.
Somebody
yeah.
said they were the first ones over, but I'm sure, it isn't just like a Sunday drive now.
A couple of weeks ago, I came up the backside. I was going to come over, and I decided
do
to
it.
turn around. I didn't want to.
Didn't wanna
The
get-
snow was rotten, so I just turned around and left. But you couldn't get over it then, or people had been further than me, so I don't know. I don't know how far it's.
Oh, I think it was Kenny Jasper had ridden his four-wheeler, him and Jake.
Has the Forest Service contacted the Fish and Game about kicking in some money on this Fish Creek Road? I mean, look at how much of it goes through the
Oh,
wildlife
yeah.
management area. I mean, you would think that the Forest Service, or the Fish and Game would have some responsibility for that road.
Yeah, we haven't for this one. So with Fish Creek, for one thing, I don't know, have you guys been getting reports it's like bad this year? They're
It was bad
about-
last year
Yeah.
too.
No, it was.
And then where that slough off is near the creek, where they got the concrete barrier to keep the
Yeah.
rock wall kinda, so.
There's about 5 spots where you drive through, but I think it was, it's probably like our, like fall moisture plus spring rain. Culverts plugged and water came across the road.
And your scope of work is culvert cleaning and ditch cleaning and some of that stuff too, right?
I put together kind of the first, like with the amount of money we have and what I want to do, and there was about 40 hours of excavator time and about 3 days of dump truck time.
Oh, gotcha.
It might be a little bit more if I drop the Sierra Iron Mountain Road from blading, you might be able to have a little bit more. And I think I'd want to focus on Fish Creek Road, getting kind of those spots opened up before blading, and then also potentially that big slough spot on the Sierra Iron Mountain Road, trying to clean that up.
Right in the Quartz Creek
Yeah.
drainage
Yeah,
there.
that would be another. And we have a spot up the west fork of Fish Creek that, from the fire, had a bunch of runoff early this year. Those would kind of be the 3 spots I'd want to focus. It's Fish Creek Road isn't a spot, it's super
Yeah.
long, but those would be the 3 things that are kind of on my radar that I'd like to do in addition to grading.
Some time ago, there was discussion about actually curing that problem along the creek where we always have the water in the low spot there. And
Yeah.
they were talking at one time about possibly relocating that road higher onto the hillside
I don't think that's
anymore. I mean, that's a big project, but
Yeah, so
any more
like
discussion?
a mile
on-
14.
Yeah,
No, I don't think that relocation is kind of our, there's like a big consulting design project or investigation. Right now, so we have hopefully this project, but we're hoping to use like Plum Creek legacy money, hopefully next year to do a larger reconstruction project on Fish Creek. So I think we can probably hopefully pull something off. So the idea is to do, a good blade job, and we have to roll it this year because of fisheries concerns, to kind of meet our programmatic fisheries sediment delivery stuff. So it'll be kind of expensive. But then next year have hopefully like a bigger reconstruction with some culvert replacements and maybe some surfacing. And I think that the mile 14 would also address that spot. But it's not like a major shift that we're
Really?
have designed right now. It's more like within our existing right of way
Huh.
at that spot.
I figured you'd have to get way up out of there with all the other,
Yeah.
these different projects that we've looked at, they complain, this road's too close to
Get
the
away
creek.
from the
Well,
creek, yeah.
that road's in the creek, I mean.
Yeah.
Yes, I figured you'd put it way up there. I know, that was the talk at one time when they
Yeah, it's
first,
not our plan.
Right.
No, it's not our design right now.
Huh.
So,
it just seems like they'd quit throwing money at the Band-Aid and actually fix the problem, but.
yeah, I mean, I think we want to raise the road a little bit, but within that, I mean, it's cliffs coming down to the road there, and we're not trying to get above those.
Okay. Have you looked at this agreement, Jason?
This is the first that we've seen it. I've
Yeah,
seen
you
it.
see-
But
I'm sure.
when Nate talked about it, it sounds good. It's kind of their project, and we're going to bid it out and
Yeah.
put somebody on, get somebody
Local and,
doing it.
yeah.
Like I say, just like we've done in the
Yeah.
past. They've been good projects, really helpful to our contractors, I think. So I think they've made some good progress.
Good.
And this is a good way to do it. I mean,
Yeah.
basically we get to spend their money
Yeah.
on, well, and it's their road, but, I mean,
Yeah, at least
It's
we have a
still-
little
it's-
say in it.
they're good projects. Like I said, I'm trying to get Nate right now to look at, and I don't know where your boundary starts and stops, but Dry Creek, that first section of Dry Creek, there's so much water there and it's so moist, and there's probably 15 or 20 or 30 culverts in that area that have been buried or put in, or there's just a water problem there. And this year it sloughed off really, really bad. Like, yeah, some spots it was over 2 feet
Wow.
of a drop off, and we went in and fixed it. And I called Nate. I'm trying to get him to do one of these agreements on that first section, because there's so. I mean, in the winter time. I mean, a long time ago, probably. Well, it was Kelly's last year, I believe. We got some millings and put on it, and then we chip sealed that first section. And the frost heaves, when we've chip sealed it since, but the frost heaves, there's so much moisture, the frost heaves get so intense in the wintertime that it just pops the road apart, and it's every year. I mean, the same spots, and it sloughs, and it's one of them projects where it would have to be kind of engineered by somebody smarter than me, because they've got to figure out how to trap the water. You know what I mean? How to get that water to a spot, and
Yeah.
I mean, they've been trying. Roger Brockway told me some of the history of that they went in, 40 years ago and dug it all out and put in, I thought he said like 12 culverts. And over the years, those have been
Like
buried,
that.
and the road sloughed so many times. It's just, it didn't work. And I know there's been a lot of work. But there needs to be something there. I'm hoping that he's supposed to meet with me next time he's out and look at that. And I don't know if that's
Cool.
inside your jurisdiction or outside.
Like Dry Creek, like that goes up to Diamond Lake, Dry Creek.
Yeah, the
Okay,
first-
yeah, that's not.
Not yours, okay. Anyway, so that's one of the, and I know Mike, probably, when we were doing that, he came out and spent some time with us, so.
Horse Creek is kind of.
Is that your, okay.
Well, I'm glad that, Brian, you guys are tackling Fish Creek Road because it's been in such disrepair. But in the future, like Lori's right, I mean, out of your 24 miles of Fish Creek, the 343 road, about half of it is 12 miles or so is FWP's
Yeah.
Big Purple. And I don't want you to cease taking care of it, but you might want to tap into them because their users, their ideas, and their invitations to everybody are going to be what's going to be using the road.
Yeah.
We hardly have.
And they always seem to have a pot of money to buy another chunk of land. Why not put it into the road that they already,
Yeah.
they
Well,
already
it's the
own?
same kind of deal that we got going with the Forest Service, when we talk about Tamarack Creek or any of these creeks, commensurate with use, who's
Yeah.
using the road, what's
Yeah.
it for? If it's for fishing or recreation or camping, that's,
Yeah.
a lot of that's, especially if the Fish and Wildlife have.
Yeah, it's all wildlife management area,
Yeah,
so,
They want
I
to
don't know.
claim the road for their purposes. For example, if power was to go up this road, it'd be buried underneath it, which the Forest Service wanted it, and so did Hole in the Wall. The Fish and Game have been preventing power from being buried under that road because they say it goes through their wildlife management area. So if they're gonna claim ownership of the road to that degree to stop power from being buried underneath it,
Yeah.
then maybe they'll also have to use that ownership they're claiming to take care of this road for grading purposes.
Yeah.
I don't know, it seems to me you can't have it both ways, but,
Yeah.
They seem to have gotten away with it for
yeah,
quite some time, Ron.
yeah,
Having it both ways.
yeah.
They do a little bit of, I mean, they've already done some, like slough cleanup there this
Oh,
year, actually.
okay.
Although it's-
We're not trying to create any
Right.
discontent, you can
No,
tell.
no, it's-
We've been down this road before with
Yeah,
frustration, so.
yeah.
But, yeah, they have a very big mini wilderness area here. They have plans for it, and all the people that are gonna be going up there to enjoy it are gonna be on this road that you're about to finally get into shape for us, so. But thank you.
Yeah.
so we need to sign one of these?
Mhm.
Well, can we,
Oh,
If
read
you
through
want.
it first?
can we rate through them, and then
Yeah,
on
absolutely.
Monday, once they're signed, I'll bring them over to you?
Sure, yeah, so I had 2 copies. Yeah, you could just bring them to the Ranger District.
Okay, I'll bring them over Monday, and then we can kind of look at your
Yep.
scope of work too. And then we'll
Yeah.
talk about how we want to proceed.
For sure, so.
Okay.
So I'll have a follow-up to this. This I basically just listed kind of a general scope of work, like road work to include blading, brushing, ditch cleaning, that kind of thing.
Mhm.
And then hopefully like next week, I want to have like more of an actual bid package
Oh,
of what I
okay.
want done this time. It wouldn't be any brushing, but it would be the things I described.
Cool.
I think the way I would have would be a pay item for blading by the mile, pretty straightforward. And then one for blading with a roller for Fish Creek Road. And then some equipment, 3 equipment rental items. And then, like I said, I should have, and maybe like a culvert installation with a government provided culvert. There's I don't know if I can pull it off, but there's probably 4 or 5 culverts on the Fish Creek Road that really it'd be really nice to replace them. So if I think I can pull that off, I might add that too.
Okay, and the way that's worked in the past is if you can pull them off, then we purchase those through that. That's how that works, and then we push them and submit them.
Oh, really? Is that what you did with?
That's what we've always done with the
Oh,
culvert
I
stuff.
thought it was government. I thought Cedar Creek was like a government furnished.
No,
Oh, we just-
we bought the culvert,
You did?
and then we
Okay.
provided it to the contractor, and then we just turned in a reimbursement.
Okay. All right. I might not be able to figure that out in a couple days, but if I am.
Anyway, if you do, that's how
Yeah.
that. So that
It'll
way
be-
you don't have to worry about going and buying the culvert.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's just how it. it's
Even
always
for smaller ones.
Mhm.
It's done that way. Okay.
So Jason, do you got Nate's phone number?
I do.
Maybe I'll get it from you. I want to talk to him as to what the plan is on that Camel Summit, because that's drug on for quite some time now.
Yeah, and I think he put that onto Koskela, and I don't
Yeah.
know, but I'll give you his cell phone.
And so Brian, where are you based out of?
I'm out of Missoula.
Missoula?
Yeah. So.
And you come out here sometimes?
Yeah. So I worked out of Superior for like 10 years.
Really?
And then I just started.
You must have
under
laid
Nate.
low. I never saw you
Yeah,
before.
Under Nate. Yeah. I did a lot of transportation planning.
Oh.
And some other stuff too.
And he worked on like the Tom's Creek with, you worked with Kelly and Darren, right, on some of these projects. I've seen him on some
Yeah.
of these, so.
And so I took, Nancy Taylor retired, I don't know if you worked. So she was Nate's equivalent on the East Zone, and that's the position we
Mhm.
filled in early January.
So now you report to work at Fort Missoula most of the time?
Yeah, so I'm basically Nate on the other side of the forest.
Uh-huh.
Same.
Well, nice to meet ya.
Same responsibility,
And he does a 9-mile ranger district, so he does from basically Courts
Yeah.
Creek
yeah.
that way. And then this way is a guy by the name of Jared Koskela
Oh.
from Thompson Falls. So
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He also was, when he started, he was in Superior for about a year and a half.
Was he?
Yeah. And, I mean, then, his family's from there, Thompson Falls, so it made a lot of sense for him to be located in Plains.
Very good. Yeah, we'll have
Yeah,
T-Bone
so-
Hey, Nate,
go over the
this is
fine
Dwayne
tooth comb and
Simons.
then we'll just administratively
I'm just
sign
curious,
off and have
we were
them.
looking at this
just
road.
take them to
agreement
Superior,
that
then they can
Brian
get them
Story
from there?
was presenting
That sounds
to
good,
us,
yeah.
and,
And then it's,
Camel's Hump came up.
I brought 2
I was
copies.
just
I think
curious
that'll
what
be the
the
easiest. So when I get
timeline
the
or
signed
what you were
copies,
thinking
I've
on
taken the
cleaning
forest
those
supervisor,
out from
and
behind
then
the
I'll
guardrails
be
and
able to
stuff
give
on-
you
up there
one
on
and just keep
Camel's Hump.
one.
Okay.
I would think that it's pretty close where a guy can
Yeah.
get in there after growing up.
Yeah, this will give these guys a chance to look through it, and then I'll
Give me a
look
holler
through
if
it.
you get a chance.
I'll bring them over and then we can chat
240-0043.
about
Thanks.
how we proceed with the that'd be good.
Sounds good. Yep, that's pretty much, that's all I have. And that map will change a little bit. Mainly it would be, I'll probably drop Sierra Mountain Road as an entire blading section. And maybe the West Fork of Fish Creek, I think those would be.
Drop the blade and just keep in removing
Like
that
more
slough. in.
more hourly stuff. And Fish Creek, I was thinking I could, or West Fork of Fish Creek, maybe just do a shorter section of hourly blading. And something.
When you drop the Sierra Iron Mountain, you mean just the blading? Or did you say
Just
there
the-
was some kind of debris you needed to haul?
Yeah, there's a,
Slough in there?
yeah, there's a big, it's kind of an ongoing.
Oh, it's horrible.
Yeah.
The rocks fall in there.
I mean,
It's so
these are-
narrow going down into Courts Creek there that
Mhm.
all sloughs in.
Cliffs on the right, cliffs on the left. It's just a real
Mhm.
tight little canyon.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what it needs, but I mean, for the purposes of this project, I think just some cleaning up what's there.
Mhm.
Would be about.
And that would help. I mean, to get that, there's that berm is getting so big and the
Yeah.
inside's all filled. And
Yeah.
The outside's got to burn. Yeah, it'd be good to get that cleaned up. Did you ever figure out where that wreck was last weekend?
Is there
There was a wreck on that road.
there are a bunch of
somewhere.
cones? I like I said, I drove it this morning just because I hadn't seen that spot.
You don't mean the
There are
one
a
out
bunch
by
of cones out.
Mason Henderson, you mean one on the actual Cedar Iron Mountain Road?
On the rivulet, yeah, going over.
Well, yeah. Well,
So somewhere on there.
Yeah,
there's
that
a-
Hennick girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
You know-
somewhere by Mason's, and then went down towards down over the bank.
Oh,
Some trees were
is there
holding.
cones on that?
Well, it was like 7 spots.
Oh,
I didn't know what was the deal. There was it was like over a stretch of like 3 miles. Somebody had put like 3 cones here, 3 cones there. I didn't know what it was.
well, oh, you on the rivulet side?
Yeah, on the Fish Creek kind of. On that
Oh yeah, that's our stuff. That and those
That's
are
your-
sloughs. Those
Okay.
are sloughs.
Yeah.
Where the first one is, you can see the big slough out of the road. When you come to the sign, and then there's cones.
Yeah.
That's a slough. Then go on the other side. There was a slough. We filled it, but it's still pretty soft out there. That's why there's cones out there.
Yeah.
This would be past,
More towards the court
Sports,
side.
yeah,
There was a wreck on there last weekend,
Okay.
but I think they were drinking. I think that was
yeah.
a lot of the reason for opening that road. Seems to be the reason for a lot of them anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know exactly where it was at, so.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I think that everything's pretty self-explanatory in that. There's that financial plan at the end, and I mean, it's similar to like what the Cedar Creek project would have been, where there's a $30,000 amount. That's kind of the maximum we can award. But then I put in, we have to say that there's a Forest Service contribution, and it's kind of a rough salary thing that I didn't do with a lot of detail, and then also your contribution, and I put a few $1,000s that isn't a monetary thing, but it's just an estimate of, kind of your guys' salaries. But the $30,000 is the reimbursable expense in that financial plan, where that would be like the contract where you guys do the work, we pay you through our grants and agreements.
Gotcha.
Similar to that project.
Gotcha. Well, very good.
That worked. Yeah, and then I'll be in touch next week.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'll
Give
come
you like
over
a
and-
draft of what I think makes sense, and
Okay.
about what advertising for the paper. And see
Yeah.
what we've done in the past.
Very good.
That works.
Well, thanks, Brian.
Yeah. And
10 o'clock, it's the Fair Board Budget Review and Discussion, and Dwayne said that Jessica is rolling up, so maybe she can walk through or answer questions or point out things better than we can. But we know that we had budget cuts last year, and you guys were one of them, of course, so I don't know, we'll find out what happened with everything. And then I'm sure that, I can't remember when we got the budgets finalized, but it's possible that we had the budget finalized after you guys already put on your fair too, so.
That was our impression.
Mhm.
Addressing that issue, I was hoping, in years past, the clerk and recorders always sent out the budget
Mhm.
on paper, and then Carol's had to sign it. And we don't have that, and that was very helpful. And if we could do that again, it
Oh.
would be a real benefit.
Okay. Hello,
Hello.
did you need anything up on the board or anything for,
No, I just got here. I
okay.
wasn't aware of the meeting.
Oh, okay.
So I might be a little behind.
Rusty.
Might have to catch up or go get a report if we need one. So,
So Deb was just saying that, are you talking about that little budget where there's, everybody pencils in the thing and there's pluses, minuses, or changes, and then the
No,
bottom?
it's just a piece of paper. It's like a legal size, has lines across it, and it just says supplies, it says this,
Uh-huh.
it says that.
The
And
budget
that's the
for-
proposed amount, or the finalized amount, I
Okay.
think. Then
Mhm.
Carol would sign it, and
Mhm.
we'd return a copy, and then we'd sign it. And that's what we had up to a couple of years ago. I don't know when
Oh.
it changed, but that really helps, because then we know exactly what our budget is, because we've struggled with that this
Mhm.
year. So here with the Fair Board is Andina Heyer, Rachel Koch, Nancy Parkin, Dave Brink and Kevin Donnelly, just to, well, you know Dave Brink. He's not the fair board, but he's supporting, I assume.
Yeah.
4-H council.
4-H council, okay. So, we got your letter. At least I think most of us did. Nancy, did you get one?
I read.
Oh, okay.
I didn't get one.
And Carol can't be here because she has work obligations, but we wanted to come and explain our story.
Mm-hmm.
It's our understanding from what Lori told us, we're $1,500 short in the budget that we proposed. Is that correct?
It was
That's an
15
estimate.
over budget from what
Right.
the final vote was.
Right.
From
was
last year.
30,000 something, and then you've already, I don't have the sheet in front of me.
Well, anyway, it was like
Yeah.
$1,500 short
That
Yeah.
you're over budget right
Mhm.
now.
From last year.
from our
This current year,
current
And
year.
the
that-
year we're in, right now.
Right now.
And that's July 1 to July 1 is the budget year for.
Whatever.
Yeah.
We did apply just this week to Blackfoot, and they are providing us the $1,500.
Oh, great.
They have pledged that. I'll give you a copy of this. It's the check is due within 7 to 10 days, so we should be covered about that amount for now, right?
So, you have if you look at your budget as a whole, the reason why your expenditure budget was approved at $30,772 is because, so you're over the 30,000, so you've already spent, 32,000 or whatever. So you've already spent more than your expenditure budget. But if you look at the revenue side also,
Oh, yeah.
we're well short on that. So the deficit is more than the 1,500 because if you look at and forget the taxes because we're going to get a large part of that next month, right? So that's really not an issue. But you guys budgeted for other revenue, and you budgeted $2,000 in rent, which you've received $1,929. So that's good. That's on track. But then for donations, you also budgeted $2,000, and you've received 0 so far.
But those will come in before the end of the fiscal year.
Okay, so you still think you're going to get the 2,000? You're going to get 1,500? You were just saying.
That
Okay.
covers our shortfall.
So how I look at it almost, and to try to keep it as simple as possible, is you need to get $2,000
By July 1.
of donated revenue, but that still doesn't fix your deficit. That just makes it at the 1,500.
Okay.
So you would need to get, because you're over your budget, so you have to get money to cover that. Plus,
Right.
you still have to get money to meet what you were budgeting for your
Yes.
revenue. So you have to do both.
We understand that.
Okay.
We have 2 fundraisers that are in process. And our hope is to get that started by the beginning of next week. We've put a letter and we're sending out requests for donations from a whole raft of people. That is being covered by a check from a personal person who is fronting us on the money. It's just a loan to pay for that project. So there's no outlay at present for that going to be. The other one is another project that we're working on that should be, it's like a raffle, but a nice big raffle to bring in money too. We know it's a problem. We've gone through this budget inside and out, and we know where the biggest pull is in the supplies budget. There's one thing that I would suggest is that the supplies budget be broken out in smaller line items, like entertainment. Supplies is actually
So we
our
kind of
expenditure is very small on actual supplies.
So we actually did that this year, if you take a look at your budget. So it has never been done. So in previous years, you had a supply budget of $20,000 and everything was put in supplies. So this year when we did the budget, we looked at that and said, well, that's silly, that's not right. So if you look at your budget this year, you'll see that I've already moved $16,000 out of supplies, because what's happening is the fair is still coding it to supplies. Everything is coded to supplies. Right? But if you look,
We don't, the county offices, we don't say which fund to take it out of.
well, you should. You should be filling out a claim form, and according to
Oh, we do that?
and you put what account number goes on there.
No, we've never
So-
done that, see?
So I'm thinking you do.
Someone
So-
does it before you get it, probably.
So I never get it. I don't look at claims.
No, it goes, the claims go to the clerk and recorder's office.
Yeah. Let's get
Then-
Nick in here.
Yeah. I'll get it.
So then it goes to you after that.
So it
When
goes
we
to
get
finance.
income, it goes to the treasurer's office.
Correct.
And that's
So-
what we do. We
so-
haven't done anything else.
Perfect.
about that.
So what I've been told, and maybe I'm wrong, is that all of the claims come in and they're coded, because on a claim form, and if you're not doing it, you should be doing it. On a claim form, you fill out, you attach the invoice, you put what fund and your account that you want it coded to, and that's where they post it.
And I think that's what they were doing. I've never been requested to do that.
Okay, so just so you know, but I agree with you. On the supply budget in previous years, it was poorly done. Everything was there. But if you look on this year's budget that Nicole sends you every month, you get a budget to actual. And if you look on that budget, things are broken out. So what we did is we added, I can't remember everything we added this year, but the main thing was contract services. And that's where you're supposed to be putting all of your contract services. So your entertainment, what are those little outhouses called?
Oh, the potties.
The porta potties. All of these things
Well, that's a service, though.
it's a contract service. So that's where we decided to put it, to help break out that supply
Okay.
budget, because it was so misleading.
Vague.
Yeah.
Just vague.
So that's already been fixed.
So
That's
does
fixed.
Deb need to know what these claims are so she can start
I
putting
know.
the claims on them?
I put the claims. The claims are fine.
Yeah.
It's just breaking it out per selection. That's all.
So right now, when the fair, so they mail you in the claims. Okay, so they don't even bring them in. So they mail them to you. Does it have the account number on it, or do you just post it wherever you think?
Well, it has like a explanation on it on what it is,
Okay.
and it'll say like just whatever.
Entertainment or whatever. And then so
Right.
you're looking at it and you're deciding what account it should go to.
Right. But I'm willing to do
Okay.
that. I
Okay.
just have never
So we
been
don't want
asked
to do that. Remember, we always want the person signing that claim form to tell us where to go, to where it should be posted.
Okay.
So either way.
Well,
So-
she'll put on there like the definition, like for what I mean. She'll say the definition, so it's pretty.
But we were putting, like, if you look at this, like, a couple weeks ago when I was here, I adjusted $16,000 out of supplies and put it in all sorts of other places because it wasn't a supply. So there we go. So you guys, so whoever does the claim, all other departments, you get a budget to actual statement every month, right?
Yes.
Right, okay, so what you want to do then is, so you would just fill out the claim form, and the proper way to fill it out is to say where you want it to go.
Okay.
Okay, so that will take care of that supply issue, because we did budget with more detail this year.
Yeah, and that's
Right.
good. I think that's better for
No, I
the
agree.
board to look at
For
the budget
everybody
and see
to
that.
look at
Yeah.
it, because when I first saw it the other day, when I looked at it a couple weeks ago, I thought, what the heck
Holy
is
cow.
$22,000 in
Yeah.
supplies, right? I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
So, but it's been adjusted and it's already better reflected on that 417
Okay.
report. But, so that's the,
One other item I'd like to bring up, as long as we're talking about numbers. I discovered a couple of weeks ago, wasn't it, Nicole? That we were getting billed each month for a Blackfoot bill. Well, since I've been secretary, we've always called Blackfoot 2 weeks before the fair. Please hook it up. We have all the lines and everything. They just have to switch it on. And then after 2 weeks after the fair, we get it shut off. That's all.
That's the only phone service.
That's
now.
all the phone service that we have on the grounds. And for some reason, which I never have fathomed, Blackfoot was sending the county with their other county bills, a separate one, correct, Nicole? Just for the Fair Board. And we've been paying, it's been taken out of our budget every month. It's between $56 and $58 a month.
Really?
Which isn't huge, but it's about $400 now. So we'd like to have that put back in our
So
budget. That will
whose phone
help.
line was their $58 a month
Who's that?
going towards?
Well, I called them and they said it was a courtesy phone that was for the fair. So we got that removed. There's no courtesy phone.
And never has been, actually. So we have the office phone, and that's the only one that's,
So that's not going to be charged anymore. That
good.
it was a whole separate bill for it, and so
Okay.
they said not to pay it. Don't.
What's a courtesy phone?
I don't
it's
know.
what they called it.
Is it something
what it
that,
was called.
is it something that we can actually push to get them to reimburse back?
That's what I'm thinking, right? Because
If they were charging us for something.
I've talked to them. I called them personally before I talked to Nicole. And I said, wait a minute, what's this? Well, what about this and that? And I gave her Nicole's number. And she talked to him. And then Clark Fort called me back and said, we'll take care of it, which I don't know what
It'd be
that
nice to
means.
get money back. I got
When you say
the vice
Clark Fort
president's
called you
number
back.
Well,
right
at
here.
Blackfoot. I always call it Clark Fort. 'cause
Oh,
he used to
Yeah.
be-
oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, Joel Block, is that who you talked to?
So they,
No, I talked to a
so
woman.
what I would recommend on that is you need to, because I don't think, so what I would say on that is you need to call Blackfoot and have them reimburse you and say, listen, people,
Well-
I have a really tight budget. You've charged me
I've talked to
$400.
them about that.
Yeah.
They said the reimbursement should come from the county.
But
And then
from
the
where?
county-
From where? Why? Why the county?
Yep.
So should we take
Because-
it out of the general fund to
Because the
pay
county
for
took
it?
it out of our fund.
Yeah, but
That's
the
what she
county
said.
took it out
But there
to
was
pay
a
them for
valid
something.
bill that they received,
Well, I don't know
right?
the
Then
ins and
okay, then
outs,
maybe
but I
maybe
told
we
them we want the
need
money
to
back.
ask them for it then. If we,
I wouldn't think so. The department needs to do that,
okay.
And we have.
And what are they saying? Sorry, we're
She's-
not gonna, or?
No, they
You
didn't
said to
say
get it
that.
from you.
They
So
said
what's the difference if we request it or you request it?
no difference as far as
Yeah.
I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Really to them,
I
that's
mean,
what
you're
they need
aware
to
of
spend
it.
Yeah.
request is what it sounds
And
like.
you have the bills. I never got the bills.
Right.
I mean, I never knew they were taking it out until I scrutinized the budget
Uh-huh.
the other day, and I said, wait a minute, what's this for?
Right.
And so,
So it's up to the commissioners and Nick if they want to, take the time to try to get that money back for you or to have you do it. I would personally argue that you get a budget to actual every month, and so you could have seen it months ago.
I could have,
And
but
and
why
so
would
then
I think of
so
it?
then I would argue that really the fair should just follow up with it. But it doesn't matter. I mean, the commissioners can direct Nick to do it or
Sure.
whatever. But
The reason I believe that I didn't catch it earlier is because we did have some billing. And
For
sometimes, yeah, and sometimes it takes a while for it to work through the system. So I would have not noticed it right away.
Has this been going on for many years?
No, I just think this past year, I'm not sure. I haven't looked
back
at the old ones
and there was a couple in
last year's.
15 that I saw,
Really? Well, we just have the ones that we,
but it wasn't like an ongoing. It was like very sporadic.
just every once in a while they bill for this courtesy phone.
Yeah.
which is pretty weird.
And that's very weird.
I've
It
never
seems
heard of such a thing. But
Yeah.
And it
Peter
was
doesn't always
it's
know what
labeled
calls
Mineral
to
County
me.
Fair Board when the bill comes in, kind of.
It has a phone number on it. Is what it is.
is it 3080
I
or
can't
something like that?
think of off the top of my head.
Remember. But we have a phone number that we just reinstate every.
every fair time. That's really odd.
So that has a little bit of an impact too.
Yeah. Say, especially when it's not right. Service is not
Well,
even
yeah, if
rendered.
they'd given it to us, we'd not
Yeah.
be complaining.
Yeah.
But they've made up for it in the $1,500 that
Yeah.
they're donating to us, so.
They should donate
Oh.
19.
Well, I thought if we got 15,
then
I
we
was
would
gonna
be
excited.
Then we would be good. Yeah.
So what do we need to raise in money in order to cover the deficit, in order to get to the point where we are
Flush.
flush? Yeah, I guess that'd be a good word for it.
Yeah. So just to get back to zero, right? To be flush, you would need to get your $2,000 in donations. Which it sounds like you guys are, on
course.
track or
That's-
may even
that's
exceed.
Special premium money, and we send out solicitation for that before the fair, and we've always brought in a fairly good amount. I can't tell you right off my head,
Yeah.
but that is one place that, and we also are asking for other donations. So I know we're hoping against hope, but it's worth a shot, is what we thought.
So what else do we need? Because we've still got 2 months worth of utilities and things going on at.
Well, they said they were gonna pay the utilities.
Yeah, but it still goes
It still
to,
goes against the
against your
budget.
budget.
I know, but the perfect thing about that is that we have to keep the 4-H building open. That's one source of revenue. If our budget's shut down, we'd have to shut the building.
So
And,
we still need to know what we need.
yeah,
You
but
need-
that's fine.
So you need your $2,000 in donations, right? And then I would think you're gonna need an additional 1,500 in donations to cover your current over expenditure. And that would get you to 0, right?
I thought the 2,000 was the.
So the 2,000 is, so you've budgeted for revenue that you haven't received yet.
Right.
So we need
that's the
that.
2,000.
And then, so that's fixing just that one revenue side. And then you need to fix the expenditure side, which you're already $1,500 over. So really, you're looking at $3,500 that you need to bring in. That brings you to 0, so you wouldn't be overspending your budget, right? And then, above and beyond that, for your next 2 months of operating, to cover the utilities or whatever else you guys may have. And I think, I don't know if you have a lot more expenditures this time. It's really most of your
Almost
stuff.
utilities most of the year.
Yeah,
The most money that's spent is up front when the fair is on.
which is in July really, and you'll have your, yeah.
It's actually
And what-
July and August and September, I suppose.
And so, I know Casey mentioned when I walked in that you guys, because of the timing of the fair and then how budgets are done, you have a real issue with that, and I really understand that. That seems like it would be very hard, right? You're spending money, so right off right in July, you spend because of the fairs. So in July, August, and September, you're spending all of your money. Budgets aren't approved until October, right? So that's a really, so the only thing, I can suggest is that like this July, because you've been over budget, you've had negative cash, the county has had to subsidize the fair so much over the past couple of years, because the cost, you guys keep spending more and more and more, the cost of the fair is going up every year. You may really want to consider in July, August, September, keeping your costs down. Because your budget isn't going to be, I should say, well, I don't know for sure, but I would be pretty positive that your budget isn't going to be any more than it was this year.
No.
Right? And if anything, maybe a little less. So I would say you might want to stay, because right now it's 30,000. You might want to stay, like, just mentally think 25,000,
But if you look at what our bills are for,
Yeah.
most of them are for utilities and for putting on the fair.
No, I understand you're in
You
a
know,
horrible situation. I understand, but
I mean, I'm not,
I know,
we
I don't-
haven't tried to pass anything off on you, anything that wasn't true or anything like that.
no, not at all.
It's just a matter of money. Now, when we get the 1,500 from Blackfoot that we're supposed to get, where do we put that?
So do you have a budget to actual?
Not with me. I didn't bring.
So you would look at it, and it's down here. It's on other revenues, and it's donations.
Okay,
And you'll see it right there.
Okay.
And that's where you'll want to have the treasurer deposit it.
okay.
Right.
We'll do that.
So we'll have a budget, you think approximately of about 25,000 to put on the fair, approximately?
I think that would be safe. This year was 30,000. I think I would be conservative. I would just think 25,000. I don't know. I really have no idea. There's so many things going on right now. We're losing Forest Reserve. We potentially could be losing PILT. It's possible. I mean, maybe there's no money for the fair. I don't know. I mean, it's really kind of a bad situation.
When are we going to know?
So you really,
That's a good question.
There's a
So-
good question.
so you don't know. I mean, the best case scenario is we try to do a preliminary budget by the end of July.
That would be good.
You know, and it's preliminary, and we did it last year also. We did it this July. There wasn't, you know, we were very timely with our budgets this year. So there really is no reason that you didn't know. And we don't use those forms anymore either, those ledger
Well, but I think
forms.
they have value to
But we-
send out a notice. I don't care if
we
it's a letter.
still
or
do that,
anything.
but it's just on this form. And so we sent it to you last June.
I've struggled trying to find,
So,
Where
but
that
we
was,
sent
I
it
don't
to you.
know.
So we sent it to all departments in June.
I'm sure you did, but
And then you guys were supposed to get back by the end of June 30th, and I think the fair was one of the one departments that didn't, and so we had to call and get it back from you, because it wasn't back by the end of June when it was
I think
supposed to be.
Carol came back with
And
it.
so Carol finally, I think, brought it in. But so yeah, so you won't see those forms anymore. We just don't do them. It's all done in the system. It's more efficient. But you're still getting forms. It's just in a different format, which is more readable in our opinion. But
Okay, so if we bring this flush, then we'll be able to spend the money for the fair. You will unlock us from not spending money. Is that what?
that's up to the commissioners. So technically, that just brings you flush, right? So you would need money above and beyond that, above and beyond the $3,500, so you could spend more money. And then that would require a budget amendment that the commissioners would have to approve.
Well, we do have money that comes in with food booths and commercial booths. We plan on making a bigger push for that this year.
Now, is that donations?
No, that's rent. That's
It's revenue.
rent.
That's on the, you call that the rent,
That's you're right, it's revenue.
revenue.
She's
county
right.
fair revenue
Yeah,
is where that goes.
right.
Okay, yeah, so that could be something that you could negotiate with the commissioners. So right now your budget was 4,000. You've brought in 3,900 already, so that's good. So if you bring in 6,000, say, and your budget is only 4,000, you've brought in $2,000 more. So then maybe they would say, okay, well, we can increase your budget $2,000 because you brought in the revenue to cover it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And, I mean, and I
Are
feel
we-
horrible for you. I
just-
understand your
I just want
situation.
to understand, are we going to be able to make
Put on
the
the fair.
expenditures in order to be able to put on the fair? Because it always comes before the budget. If we don't do any more than bring it flush, we have to bring an over amount in order to be able to spend money to put on the fair? Am I making sense to you?
In
gonna
other
be
words,
up
are
to
we
the
going to have a
commissioners.
fair or not? That's the question. That's what all this means. And I think,
So
a
you
lot
still
of
have
people
quite a
would
bit
be-
of expenses in June.
Yeah.
How much?
oh, I don't know.
I can run a report from June of last year, just to see roughly like what you guys spend in
We tried to be
June.
very conservative last year.
No, I don't think we spend a lot of over and above, but we have money starting to come in then.
16. Right.
Because don't we get the money
From an
in May?
income statement?
Don't we get
From June of
1.5
16.
mils?
Say that again.
Don't we get part of the money, won't it come in from May when we get taxes?
Yeah.
Correct. So right now, if you look at that line item, so you're budgeted for 28,000
Can
for.
we get a copy of that so we can
Yeah, that's us,
see
Nick,
what
when
you're
she comes.
talking about?
Yeah.
Kind
See,
of
I would just offer that, Jessica,
Yes, Dave.
these boards have been in place for years. They're used to doing things on old paper ledgers, they're used to looking at that, they're used to being able to go up and access that. The switch to Black Mountain was, even as a department head, I am still confused by a lot of those forms. And thank God that Emily spends more time in them. She can print off the report that is most useful to me, which is the budget versus actual ledger report. That's what Deb has not gotten, so she doesn't know the
She gets it
expenditure
every
codes.
month. No.
But she's not looking at it
Well-
and understanding the ledger codes to be able to code the claims.
She gets-
So that's one thing that can be easily fixed. We can teach how to do that.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
they're used
She
to doing
gets
it
the-
one way, but
but you know, I've
there's
never
no
heard of
understanding
Black Mountain.
for the new form of
It's the-
process. So
It's the program that they're using. and they-
Apparently.
if it's
It is,
coming to
but
them monthly, it only helps them to understand it if they know what they're looking at on those forms. They are still very confusing even to me.
A budget to
And I
actual
have
statement?
to have Emily print off the right report, so we're not getting the right report, I think, sent out sometimes.
That
So
could
we
be,
go in
Dave,
and
because
look
it's
at it.
very confusing.
I just don't
Yeah.
think Deb knew that when you were sending those papers, that was our budget and how to read your form. I just don't.
So that
Okay,
is-
so Nick
So,
sends,
so we see that as a
Nick
recurring
sends
thing
a
that we
budget
need
to
put
actual
out.
statement out. You gonna copy that?
Yeah.
Thanks. So this would be, and that's fine. Maybe people don't know how to read it, but this is the thing. It has been sent, a budget to actual report with a detailed ledger query. I'm pretty sure we'll ask Nick when she gets back. But it is one of the things that she does every month that's on her checklist of things to do.
And she does it.
So she
I
does.
don't argue
So-
that. It's reading it. I agree with
So,
Dave.
but it doesn't matter. It
Well,
was,
it does matter if I don't
but it hasn't,
understand
but it
it.
hasn't been done manually for 20 years.
That's fine
But all I'm saying is it's been done this way for, well,
for the year.
probably 20 years.
Well,
So,
but not here. That
no,
is
always
not,
here.
Not the form.
You're just talking about that initial budget
No,
form.
no. I'm talking about the form we get every month. You, as a bookkeeper, an accountant, understand that. I'm a layperson. I'm not a bookkeeper. So I need something that's simple. You have this much money. You spent this much money on this, and this.
See, I don't think she understands accrual. I think she only understands cash.
So we don't accrue anything.
You don't accrue anything.
No. We don't accrue anything in the fair because it would be too complicated.
Okay.
So it's not. It's just all cash basis.
Okay.
There's nothing really complicated about. I mean, I couldn't make it any simpler. It's you have your actuals and you have your budget.
And see, for
And you have the
for
difference.
board, I just know that we didn't
Right?
get an understanding of how much budget there was, and every time Deb came to one of our meetings, she had the paper, but she didn't understand it, so we're saying,
I
well, how
couldn't
much budget do
tell.
we have?
And I couldn't tell. But
So,
let me on my behalf say this. I did try to call you, Jessica. I did call you. I left a message with your office to make an appointment, and I asked you to call me back, take my number, and who I was, and all that. So we could set up appointments so you could explain it to me. I never heard back, and I came in. I'm not saying you're a bad person. I'm just saying this is what I did. I came to the courthouse, and you weren't here. They explained that you weren't there all the time because you had to allot your time so it wouldn't cost the county so much, which is fine. But it didn't help me, and I don't think Nicole was here either. So I asked Mary what it was, and I still don't think maybe she understood what it was either. Because I never did get a hard, fast figure, regardless of whatever. I just didn't, and I tried.
So for us, I think we just want to
Can
know,
you get her one of those also?
I think
You
for the
make
fair board
a
itself,
copy
we just wanted
for
to
the
know
commissioners.
for this next year, since we've got,
Emily has.
this year's is already screwed up and we're trying to fix it. We just
Yeah.
kind of want to know
Yeah.
what it is that we're gonna have for next year if we manage to get this year
These
fixed.
3 copies for the commissioners too.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I
was reading, so I
Can't
wasn't
they
listening.
get say a printout of, okay, this is what the utilities cost for the year, this is what it costs for Deb's salary, this is what, and so at the end, this is what we can spend on the fair.
And I think we do have that. I understand a lot of that stuff in there. It's just that I don't understand which is the actual budget figure that we're working from.
So the budget column, right?
Yeah,
So you
I know.
have, so this is the budget, the column that says budget. That's the budget. This is what you've actually spent, and that's the difference. So you know what we could do for transparency is so Nick easily can add emails, so she can send this budget to actual report to several people, maybe to the entire fair board if you all wanted to get it every month, because she sends it every month. So that might be good. You could have more people looking at it and scrutinizing it and knowing what's going on at all times. Possibly. I mean, that could be a fix. So we could send it to all of you.
But like Lori was saying, having it broke out would be nice because then we could also see, well, we had this much, maybe we can change things so we're
Well,
not
I mean, you
spending
could
so much
even-
in this
you could
group of
even
items.
Say, look back
Thank you.
and see what your monthly utility is for the next couple months and say, okay, let's
cut back on this, or, you know,
Yeah, I mean, you might need, I think the last, the one I had before, I think you spent like $2,000 for the previous months. That was your expenditures for the previous
That
month.
probably
So
had
you've got
propane
2
in
more
it.
months, so you're looking at another $4,000 on top of what you're
And so what do
already
you
over
send every
budget.
month to the fair? You send a budget, what do you send?
This
An income statement? Or just a
or
budget
a budget
actual?
actual, and
Okay.
then I think a detail.
And a detailed ledger for you, so they can see all of the
Yeah,
expenses?
the end of
Yeah.
every month.
Yeah.
so are we the only one over budget?
Yeah.
It's us.
Everybody else, I was just telling the commissioners the other day that I was really impressed with all of the departments. Everybody is everybody's paying,
More attention to
paying
it.
a lot of attention to their budget, and working within their budget.
In
And
our
so they're,
defense,
yes.
2 years ago, our budget was 41,000. So we have cut a lot out.
So this is funny, I'm looking at this because I pulled one from last year. So this is, it's just horrible for you guys again, and I do sympathize with you. But this is what's happened, and this is what is one of the main issues with this county, is your budget was 41,000, but you know what your revenue was?
It wasn't,
29,
Yeah.
budgeted. That's even just budgeted, right? So what's happening? So you're only going to get $30,000 in revenue. You're going to spend 40. Where's the extra 10,000 in
Yeah.
cash coming from? And that's the problem, because budgets weren't balanced, right?
and
so yes,
understand-
I agree.
was
So
telling you
Yeah.
that we have cut back
yeah,
a lot.
yes,
It's not
and I
that-
think everybody knows that.
Everybody has.
You know,
Everybody is cut.
And
yeah.
everybody knows you guys have done everything you can to work with your budget. I mean,
it's just
You're trying
where
hard.
to cut. You know,
It's tough. We
So-
zeroed out our commissioners' travel budgets. We begged to the state and finally was granted a grant for travel budgets. You know, to go to a meeting that may be important. It's not there anymore. We zeroed it out last
So
year.
what do we
And-
need to do in order to be able to put a fair on this year that's coming? That's where we're at, is we need to know
money,
what
yeah.
we need to do as
Well-
a fair board.
I don't necessarily think you can cut much more expenses, right?
No.
So then you have to look at the revenue side. You have to say, okay, maybe who does the rodeo, that group?
that's the Lions Club.
The Lions Club. Maybe the Lions Club needs to donate
They have
$2,000.
helped us.
They gave us 500 for entertainment last year.
And that
Last
was
year.
That was
Yeah.
the first time.
So maybe, yes, this was discussed, I think, when when we approved the budgets. It was a big discussion about how the fair has to go out and raise money. Because you can't bring your expenses down anymore, so you have to go after the money. So maybe, it was discussed at the budget meeting with the fair. Maybe the Lions Club has to donate $2,000. Maybe you need to do, I don't know. I don't know the answer. I don't know
One
how
thing I
you
thought
get there,
of, maybe sponsor signs like the Lions Club does for the rodeo, but within the area of the fair, you know.
And you
a
mentioned
sponsor, and then someone, $100, and I don't know where the Lions Club gets assigned or who
Yeah.
does that, but.
Usually it's your businesses that do
Yeah.
it, just like Blackfoot says that they'll send us a sign.
But I mean,
I
there
know
could be
the-
within the area of the fair, like over the little gazebo where the
Yep.
player
Yeah,
music is.
I-
It could be Haskins Excavating or who, and then
Yep.
people, or even, supported by the Dwayne Simons family. I mean, people could pay and it could be put, that would be a way to.
I think it's a valid suggestion.
Mhm.
I did mention it to the fair, but I
Yeah.
don't think it was given a lot of attention at that time.
Right.
But they may be more interested now.
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know.
but if you come down to St. Regis and go to a baseball game, the ball field fences are lined with little
Right.
signs.
Well, and that's
50
appropriate.
bucks. Yeah.
And I think
You don't
they probably
really
get
see it at
$2,000 a
fairs.
year
Yeah,
from that.
I'll bet they raise
Yeah.
a couple $1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, every year.
No, yeah.
So the budget the preliminary budget will be in the 1st of July and you're
Not the first, usually around the end of July.
end of July.
But we were
Yeah.
going to try to put up something an estimate.
So I cannot, Casey mentioned that, I do not see us I mean, the commissioners can give you a number. But
Until we
it's
know
nearly
what the-
impossible.
yeah, until
I mean,
we know
because
what
you
the
budget as a
mills
whole.
Bringing in and.
You budget all of these levied funds all together. And to pull one out and say, oh, we promise you're gonna get $30,000.
No.
You can't because you don't know what revenue you're gonna pull in. I
That's
understand
right.
that part.
So, best case scenario
Is to stay in
is at the end
touch.
of July. To have a good preliminary budget would be at the end of July.
Okay.
So that
But we
only
have-
gives us
less
4
than
days
that.
to
Yeah,
plan.
really, because the
So-
fair is the 3rd, 4th, and 5th this year.
Yeah.
I mean, could we, even if we went 25,000, because you're saying.
That's what I'm
25,000,
throwing that out there, and I am,
What I would do though first is see, what are my utilities for the year?
Right.
What do I pay it for salaries? But then in the salaries, you also have to figure out, you know, your.
The unemployment.
Unemployment. Social
and it's all on
Security,
there.
that.
You
And
can see
Find
it.
out
It is.
what
Is this the
expenses you
years,
have
or is this
other
just
than the
amounts?
fair.
That is a
And
year-to-date.
then
Subtract it from like
subtract
the
that, say
25,000.
from.
And we could do that.
And
Because
then
then
you'll see-
from that, you can decide, are we gonna spend less on free lunches or prizes? I mean, are we gonna cut back on so many blue ribbons or green ribbons? Are we gonna cut back on the, because like she said, you gotta know what the annual, just to keep the doors open for the 4-H and for the wedding rentals and all that, and upkeep, you know, your salary or the occasional lawn mowing or whatever else. And then the gravy, to putting on the fair, how much will still make a good fun fair, but maybe cut back something that isn't quite as necessary from these numbers you're finding out.
So if we worked with the 25,000, subtracted like what Lori said, and whatever was left, we could, if we stayed in
Kinda
that
work
budget,
with
could
that.
we start planning the fair?
I would think so.
Would you guys be all right with
I
that?
would-
Because
I
we
would be
have to start moving
conservative,
right
you know,
now.
Well-
say like the 25,000 or whatever.
We want you guys, I mean, we all love the fair, and you
We're
guys
for the
do.
fair,
Oh,
I
I'm
mean,
sure.
And
you know.
and it's so unfair, no pun intended, that you guys have to figure your budget out.
Differently.
Yeah.
Yeah, fiscal year is July
Right
to
on.
July, you guys do the fair, that's unfair. But the other thing that's unfair is we also rely on federal monies, and their budget year is October to October.
Yeah.
And like she mentioned here, we're sitting there breathing down the barrel of, do we get this 1.2 million this year in SRS? Do we get 220 in PILT? Or is it all going away with the new administration? So we feel your pain because we try to run a county budget, and we don't even know if we're gonna get those large amounts of money or not. And then if we don't get those large amounts of money,
If we don't get those large amounts of money, then
Then we won't have a fair.
and we probably won't.
Yeah.
And
I mean, we might not
won't
have a lot of different
And we won't have a
departments.
library
Trust-
either.
truly.
We won't have a I mean, it's
Yeah.
such a large amount of money that we're only gonna, we don't know what we're gonna do.
At this
I mean-
point, we can keep the fair building open though, so that the 4-H shooting sports
Oh, yeah.
kids can use the fair building.
Oh, yeah.
And
We-
rent
we
it out
have
to
rentals
renters.
Yeah,
scheduled.
that's part of what you're donating, yeah. We don't wanna hamstring you. If you're saying most of our donations come in these months, that's kinda counterproductive to say, close it all down, and now you're losing that revenue that
And
you're
that's what we were
counting.
worried about.
Yeah.
But if you've got the 1,500 kind of coming in from Blackfoot, then
Well, you
really
got
you're
the
just,
letter.
and now you're talking about the $2,000. And see, I put highlight on the revenue, on your revenue side, and you can see what was budgeted and what was received on that very bottom one, Rachel. So you're anticipating 1,925 has already come into that one 2,000, but then the other one says other donations, and you're expecting 2,000, and there's been nothing in that line. See, I highlighted a blank. So that's a part that kind of needs to be remedied, and I don't know if the idea of maybe selling signs came up now.
Well, yeah, we, like Deb said, we have a couple
Fundraisers. that we're working
fundraisers
on.
that we're doing.
Oh, okay.
We're sending
Okay.
letters out to alumni and stuff
Yeah.
to see about donations
Yeah.
there too, so.
So, I mean, we are making the
Okay.
effort. And we're well aware of
Yeah.
there being a problem. My whole struggle, as I said before, was knowing exactly what the budget was.
Interpreting the format.
Well, just knowing what the amount for the budget was.
So we now know that it's 25 and we're gonna have to take off
That-
what
and
we
that's
spend.
great.
And we'll have to do that. We'll probably have to call a
And I
fair
think-
board meeting for that.
Jessica just threw out 25, like, so then it gives you kind of a buffer. So if
It's
you're
a very
if you're getting 30,000
May not be
and you plan for
conservative enough.
25,
Well, we'll
But
hope so.
if you yeah.
oh,
a $5,000 buffer for unforeseen whatever.
It may,
It's
yes.
just a general rule of thumb. I
If
mean,
the
if it comes in at
commissioner-
26.5,
If the commissioners are comfortable saying 25,000, then that's what we'll say. But I mean, really, for me to even throw out a number,
Yeah,
it's.
it's kind of, yeah, I mean, you need, yeah.
But you do
Based
need
on
a number,
Oh, yeah.
but you need a
We have
number
to have
because
them,
you
right.
need to go forward. So I think we can all throw out 25,000.
Yeah, I would think.
Okay.
That's a working figure.
And it's just, yeah.
So you're then agreeing that you're gonna fiscally stop us from, so we can actually start spending money.
For the
with-
utilities.
For the,
Well, just what your monthly expenses are
Yeah.
gonna be until the end of June or whatever, and then
Yeah,
the new budget will be coming on, and
that's when we can start
Then you can
purchasing for the
start.
fair,
but
right?
but we can plan that we're approximately need to take our yearly utilities and things off the 25,000.
And you can see what all of those are
Sure.
on here, right? So you can just work backwards into that 25,000. Something to consider too, and this is also what we're doing at the county is, so say in prior years, people were overspending their budget, right? And so what would happen is it would drive cash negative. So let's say you guys don't bring in any more revenue and you're over your budget $5,000 by the end of this year in 2 months. Let's just say $5,000. That $5,000 technically should make your 25,000 that the commissioners are, yes,
Mhm.
even
I
less.
understand that. Okay.
Yeah. So every, if we can't get this one looking better by raising money and getting this one flush, then next year would be even worse. It's just,
It's gonna spiral.
yes.
Okay.
So think about that too.
Oh, I think we've thought about all those things inside
Okay.
now.
Thank you
It's
for
just a
taking the
dilemma
time
that we have to
help.
work out.
Yeah.
And it's a
I
dilemma
wish
we
we-
have to do.
I wish we had more money. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Don't we?
everywhere at the county though.
The one thing I'd like to say too is, the other thing that you can do is contact your congressman and encourage them to support bill payments and encourage them to support secure rural schools. Eventually, our big hope is to get off the secure rural schools and go back to the 25% fund and manage our forest like it should be managed, but we're not there yet. And if
History goes
the more
forward,
people-
Dwayne,
Huh?
not back. I'm sorry.
Huh?
We understand.
She said history goes forward, Dwayne, not back.
Well, I'll tell you what, Deb, I can see where history has got us in the forest industry so far. It's got us in deep trouble.
I understand my husband
Yeah.
works for Tricon. Logging isn't the, it's not that we don't understand.
I'm just saying, if we can,
Where we're
the more
at.
letters
Yeah.
and the more people that they hear from,
It can't be a bad idea.
No.
Well, thank you.
It's gonna kill this county if we lose those two things. It-
Well, it's already
We're not back
done
to the
several
25.
death blows out there with railroads and lumber mills and
Thank you.
Well, so
Planning.
can I get you?
Thank
can I
you,
get
guys.
Thank you
my
guys for
email
coming.
address and get
Well,
to send
I
We're
brought
gonna
that to
add-
the fair board as
Gotcha.
We're gonna add some
information.
people to the fair.
And
area.
in no way was it intended that I was against the fair, so.
Oh,
I
never,
just-
no, we never thought that.
Well, there was
We
some
just
that
were at the
was,
point
so.
where we had to understand
just
in
wanna
order to
make
figure
that
out how to
clear.
fix
Well,
it
I
better
couldn't
than we
figure
were.
that you'd be against the
Yeah.
fair. You were raised around the fair.
Yeah.
No, you're in a tough situation. Yeah. And I'll give you my cell phone number, so if you want to call me, that's how you'd want to get a hold of me.
Okay.
It's 649.
And if you ever have any questions, Nicole,
Oh, yeah.
she's always there and we can.
And she was helpful in the Blackfoot, or yeah, I said it right, Blackfoot issue. I'm an old dog, what can
So
I
are you
say?
gonna?
Oh, how are you guys handling that? You
are
should
gonna
finish that up.
Contact Blackfoot and say, you need to reimburse us this money.
Well, she said they were gonna take care of it, but I don't know what that means. She didn't say they weren't gonna pay it.
Well, I think we
She
need to
did
nail
say
down.
the county needs to reimburse you, and I said, I don't know about that,
But then
but
they need to reimburse the county, and I think
That's
we need
right.
to.
Yeah.
We need to put a
Well, we
pin
can-
on and say, okay, so how are you gonna fix this, even if it's you
Yeah.
reimburse
We
the
can-
county so that they
Well,
reimburse
Let
us.
them contact me first.
I hate to,
But
I want to get that check.
Yeah, you want, it's kind of, you're in a bad spot now. They're giving you a donation, 1,500, and you're
Yeah.
gonna ream them out over the,
Yeah.
maybe just tell them to make the donation $2,000, even call it good.
There you go.
Yeah. We won't complain on
I'm
this.
not going to endanger it. when I
Yeah,
have
yeah. Wait till you get that check in your hot little hand,
Yeah.
and then we'll call and complain.
that. Yeah.
So what did you find out?
You really want to know?
Can we spend it or not?
Yeah, we could spend it.
Have another, big barbecue?
Okay, Title III. Not necessarily easy thing. Good news is Mr. Jerry Dury from the Forest Service Missoula office, I don't have his card, but he's the planning something specialist. Came out here, met with us. Carol was here, Jim Ward was here, then Stacy and Willie were here and stuff. So a really helpful meeting because he has enough interplay into this to say, no, this is really specifically what you can do with Title III. And he says, do this, you're going to be okay. Don't try to throw something else in there. And it was probably good for at least Willie and Stacy to hear that because some of these other counties are they're out there, they're doing some things. Somebody has maybe given them the authorization or think that they're doing fine, that's doing that. So anyway, but the big picture is that we need to do right now is that start a 45-day ad that starts this public comment period because we can't do anything with the funding until you get this over with. So I just put an ad together and it's just a big picture ad. It doesn't have anything all that specific in there. We should end up with a coordinator, we can take applications. But what this Jerry Dury specified for us is that you're setting up a program to keep spending this money, commit the money, and spend the money off into the future. You don't have to do this block with this whatever, which basically is what the county tried to do before. We tried to put an ad in, say public comment period is open, bring us applications, then we would decide on that.
We don't have to do it that way?
No, you don't. That's probably the most significant finding of this whole process is that you can set up this whole program to keep accepting these applications and just operate under that application. Aha, she's here.
I'm leaving.
No.
Do you want me to stay?
You mean for the day?
Yeah, I just came down for that Fair Board meeting.
Oh.
Do you want her to hear this?
Yeah, well, I want you to hear one thing, or at least hear my question. What I'm struggling with Title III is the fiscal years of monies that we've collected. There's two kind of issues. We've received money over a series of fiscal years. Okay, I'm not yet been able to put my hand on the annual reports that should have gone in by about February for the previous year's work. I don't see those reports that they were generated.
So we started doing those. We did one this year. We did one this year on time. Last year we did one, but it was late. And before that, I don't think they were done for a couple years. It was in part of the audit finding.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But I know exactly the certification of funds report.
Right.
Yeah.
Can you? I don't see where they were in the Title III books. I don't.
You got those books, Jim?
Well,
They're not in the Title III books. They're in my filing cabinet.
Okay, so
Well, the two that I have.
okay, so if we can get copies of those, that would be helpful and stuff. So
Okay.
do that. But anyway, so about having Title III funds, what I see from the fiscal reports is that there's Title III funds for like maybe up to five fiscal years that are put in this total of Title III funds that are out there right now. In doing that. So what I got from the Forest Service is just make a generalized program, advertise the program, And in that process, you're gonna be committing these funds available, and you're gonna operate it under this program process and do that. And we can accept these applications along, we can have a coordinator going along there, we can do the education component. But the actual action out there on the ground and everything else has to be confined to the specifications that we'll put together. So that's what we're doing right now with the, at least what I've found out with the ad and stuff. But this Jerry Drury is a good contact. We had a couple of questions that he couldn't answer, and I'm not quite sure why he was invited to Washington, D.C., but these additional follow-up questions, when he's back there, he's going to try to get those answered for us. So we should be on good, safe footing and stuff to do that. So, but then again, we'll just, what I wanted to sort out, because I can kind of see what we've done in the past, but I thought it could be
a good idea. And why it was done like that in the past, I really don't have any idea. It's just, that's what we had done the year before, and that's how we did it.
And the other thing I noticed is that of the 4 Montana counties that were audited by the GAO, Mineral got skipped. I don't know why it skipped in the audit. I think it might have been beneficial to have been audited, because I think they probably gave you guidance during that audit that helped these counties along the process.
There were 5 that did get audited?
No, there was 4.
4?
4.
Oh, really?
Lincoln, Sanders, maybe Missoula and Granite.
Really? Wow. Sanders, wow, that's good.
And so, anyway, when Lily and Stacy brought up, well, this is what doing, that Sanders, Mr. Forest Service Jerry Drury was sitting there, and he was just kind of going, whoa. he kind of had raised his eyebrows a couple times about some things of doing that. So it's like,
See, and I used to get that same reaction from Sanders when I would say, this is what we're doing in Mineral. And they'd go, whoa.
What are you guys thinking of doing? Are you going to hire a project manager? Oh, you are?
Yes.
Are you going to do it as an independent contractor or as an employee?
That's a decision to be made here in the next 45 days.
Oh.
Some of the interior fleshing it out and doing that, but it's just right now, just get the 45-day process started so that we can pull the parts together here.
Good. So you're advertising then?
Yeah, going to advertise next Wednesday. So
Good. That's good.
What do you think would be better, independent or an employee?
I think an employee. We've talked about it a couple times, all of us. And at first we thought independent contractor, but it's going to be a heck of a lot easier to find somebody that would do it as an employee.
What but the portion of this, which you're not even going to see in the ad, the very important, one of the highest priorities is rewriting the community wildfire protection plan. The Forest Service needs it. This Jerry Drury says, do that. You really need that. It gives you your guidance, your priority, what you're doing out there. It involves the fire department. So this person is going to meet with the fire departments. Mm-hmm. He's going to be working on this new revised community wildfire protection plan. So somebody's going to be technical writing skills and doing that. It's not, I can just go talk to this person and say, hey, do you want to cut down some trees? It's a little different flavor venue, thing like that. Mm-hmm. So
I almost wonder if there's somebody in another county that, kind of does it part-time.
That's what Sanders is doing. But he basically is a fire-related something person like that.
I wonder if that person, so it would be nice to find somebody that has experience in it.
Well,
but then I almost wonder if they could, if it's just part-time there, I wonder if they could do part-time here or something. I don't know.
Well, they would, but then I don't know how if you task them with this rewriting possibly. I mean, a couple of people I can imagine might fit in this would be somebody like Joe Hughes.
Or Bob DeLeith.
Yeah,
Well, you could also
contract
that part out. So you could hire somebody with a lower skill set.
Well,
right, and then contract the writing of that out.
Yeah.
Because it might be very hard to find somebody that could do all of that in Mineral County.
Right.
So
Yeah,
Maybe-
good option. And
maybe contract it.
So whether, those people can fill that skill set and come in and do that
Yeah.
part of it and are interested in it,
Right.
yeah, do that. But then to follow this up though, is that what I think we really need to make it streamlined for the audit and for the process is that we have all these benchmarks that person is performing under. You've contacted this many people, we're expecting this many contracts to get
Yeah.
fulfilled and do that part of it and stuff. So that, I'm trying to fill that out. over
Do all
the
the
next-
compliance stuff.
You're putting that together?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I'm doing. And I collect enough forms and Stacy's gonna give me the forms from Sanders County and I have DNRCs and I have Bitterroot RC&Ds and doing that, so.
That's
So the
great.
only, if we have some time in the next, whenever block of time, if you and I could sit down and talk about how you see the fiscal monies, the monies and everything else, it's not gonna be my real forte, but
Can we do it now? Otherwise, I won't be here for probably 2 weeks.
no, I don't think it's gonna,
And I can copy that certificate of certification of funds for you right now too.
okay, well, we can do that. So the only, if we go back in here and you see this 112.78, these are the four service payments, 84, 83, 72, and 63. Okay, I think if you probably add those up, you come up with right around the 351, I would guess.
I thought there was 4 or something.
So this is the report that Candace ran for you, right?
Yeah, Candace, Nicole, whatever.
Yeah. No.
I-
So if you add all of these up plus subtract all of these, so first of all, we should run we could run a different report that would show the cash balance. But that's what it is. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
so it's just all the cash in minus all the cash out.
But what I see for the Title III ad is that we don't have to put any number in there. Before, when we get to this public hearing on June 30th, we might have to talk about a fiscal amount. And say that we generally have 300 and whatever $1,000 or whatever it is. But I just see that waiting off into the future. Okay, so I think for this 45-day comment period, I don't think we need a number.
You don't need to put a number in there.
I don't think so.
I think you're just calling for proposals at this point, right?
Well,
You're
we're-
just saying everybody,
We're taking comment on this programmatic overview of how we're gonna do Title III. And that's what, this guy, Jerry Dury, was sitting right there, and I specifically said, I wanna know that we can keep accepting applications all year round. He goes, you bet, anytime, because this concept has been before, is that you accepted applications, the commissioners heard these proposals, you issued, contracts or whatever, performance for them, and then you were able to pay that Title III funds out for that. And that, it doesn't have to be that way. You can keep these proposals going,
And you should be able to. I mean,
year round.
who told you that?
Jerry Dury,
Who is he?
he's the Forest Service specialist for planning and sales and stuff, and that's why I brought him out here, is because Carol found out that's the guy that we wanna.
To talk to?
Yeah.
Because how I haven't read it for a while, but I understand that you have to, if I remember, so you advertise and you get all of the different people who want a project. So all the project proposals come in. You then decide on what projects you want and you approve those. And if you want new projects down the line, you have another 45-day advertising comment period, blah, 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 blah. That's my understanding. So what you may want to do is, I wouldn't take, what so-and-so says or so-and-so. It all depends on what the auditor says. So I would call the auditor and say, the county auditor, the one who's going to write you a finding if it's not done right.
Yeah.
That's what I would do, because I don't think, maybe there's something new, or maybe they've loosened it a little bit where you can, but
or
that
maybe
isn't.
we weren't doing it right.
That isn't my understanding.
What he's explaining is that you really weren't doing it right if you were just in that 45-day comment period taking those particular things. It's meant, and Sanders Counties is doing that right now, accepting these all year long.
And see, my recollection.
So if you look, let me go grab the title.
Yeah, my recollection of it is the only reason we ever did it like that was because that's the way we did it last year. I mean, there was never really
Yeah.
any explanation
Well,
or any interest.
right.
You know, you had these projects going and we accept them now and they get completed and we approve them at the end of the year. I didn't ever think of it ever doing any other way.
A participating county shall use county funds for a use described under subsection A, which is what we're talking about by doing that, only after a 45-day public comment, beginning of which the participating county shall publish any publications, in any publication of local record, a proposal that describes the proposed use of the county funds.
Describes the proposed use.
I'm describing the proposed use of the county funds. A coordinator accepting applications.
Does his job and
Yeah. Submit the proposal to any resource advisory committee established under section 7125, which I haven't found yet, but I don't know if that, I think we have to pack this all up at some point in time and maybe submit it to the RAC committee.
But they don't have to approve it.
It's not approve it, it just
No,
says submit
no,
it to
just
us.
submit it. And that's just kind of a courtesy, I think.
Yeah. But, the proposals, it just says you just line out your program and take a 45-day comment period on it, and Carol was just like beside herself, like, why do you have to do 45 days? And I'm like,
Yeah.
ask the federal government, they're the ones that came.
And
up
I'd
with
say
it.
I thought it was 30 days. But that's me.
So I have publishing a notification of proposed uses for Title III funds. So it says a participating county may use Title III funds for authorized uses only after providing for a 45-day public comment period. The comment period is initiated by the county's publication of a description of the proposed use in a publication of local record.
Yeah, proposed use.
So, yeah. So, but if you come up with a new idea 6 months from now and it wasn't in that 45
You might have to
day,
put that under a 45-day.
then that's right. So you can't just take new ideas and do them.
It's not new ideas. We're just going to accept a specified project that says within 200 feet of your structure, you can go in there and do the mitigation, remove the trees, you can re-landscape, you can do things, and you just need to have a contract with us for the amount that it's going to cost to do that and perform it and get it inspected, and the county will pay for that work, and we move on to the next one.
That makes sense to me. Yeah, unless the project changes, right? Or if all of a sudden we want to buy a
Well,
Trailer.
So
a
he's,
trailer.
so they specifically
Spread the
asked-
word.
Well,
But,
we
but I
bought
think
a
so.
chipper.
But really, the very best thing ever to do if you have a question, in my opinion, would be to call the county auditors. Because they're the ones who are going to have an issue or not.
We had 5 questions for him, and he authorized use, outfitting, staffing, Firewise, mobiles, things. Yes, fine. I don't know what quite from Washington. Training allowable? No, you can't. They were asking about this training. It said providing chippers to treat hazardous vegetation. Does that mean you can buy one, or he can
We
provide?
did buy one, Tim.
I believe you can.
County has one.
You can buy one of those.
I think you
believe.
can buy one.
You can.
We did.
Well, yeah.
I know, but
Isn't
You
the
can.
typical,
I
that's
think we can go out and buy another one too,
Is
that
it,
we
that's
can
conservation?
specifically.
I thought that was purchased.
Yeah.
Conservation District runs it, or, I mean, they,
So what is the home ignition
Huh?
zone?
I thought Roger
He,
out of the Conservation District.
Okay.
Yeah, because all that, whenever they rent it out, it goes back to the Conservation District.
Okay.
Unless they buy.
so we asked him about that
Another
before
one somewhere.
No,
2015
no, that's the only one.
and
that I
the
know
previous
of.
45
I
days.
was under
He's going
the
to get us
assumption-
another answer on that.
But
part of it.
that was before our committee.
So,
Guess, well, it's good that you guys are going forward.
Well, yeah.
So what is the expiration date on it then, Tim? Did they say? I mean, when do we gotta have it spent by or just committed?
I
No,
think
committed.
it's just gotta be
Sep-
committed.
September 30th of 2017, get it committed.
18.
18 of them, yeah.
This is what Dury was suggesting. He said, just get it committed by
17.
September 30th.
But we've already committed it, right?
When we have the public.
No, it's
hearing.
not committed yet.
No,
I
it's
thought
not.
we committed that when you came in.
No, it's not
No?
committed yet. No, we've talked about it a whole bunch, but we've never done anything. So that's why it's,
On June 30th, when you're all gonna be here on June 30th, that's gonna be committing the funds.
I can't be here that day. I don't wanna be difficult.
He doesn't want to be, but he always is.
deadline to obligate. Yeah, so it's September 30th, 2018.
Okay.
But I don't know, about the various fiscal year payments, but I'm not gonna get too concerned about that. so.
And you don't think that it seems weird to me you don't have to put an amount in there, right? I mean, if you think about it
I
now.
think we will put an amount in there during the public hearing.
Okay, but just not in that 45
I don't-
initial.
Yeah, I don't think we have to sit here and say,
See, we've always put an amount on the other one.
I think you have to, so we know that amount is obligated.
right.
Yeah, okay.
I agree 100%.
Okay, but just not in the 45-day part.
Just a meeting.
Because then don't you do, I didn't see it here, but isn't there, so you do a 45-day, and then there's something else additional, right?
Yeah, there's another comment period.
Then you do another, right?
That's the way it used to be.
Yeah, there's something else, it's more than, so you do the 45-day.
I've seen that in the past, but he didn't tell us, he said, you do the 45-day comment period and commit the funds, and that's really all you had to do.
Maybe that was just something we did. I didn't-
Everybody does it, or then maybe you,
Well, and then we have to approve it we sign off on it at the end of the year.
you should look into that, Tim. Just make sure there's nothing else you do afterwards.
Right?
Because I thought you do public comment to get all the ideas, and then I thought you had to advertise what projects you were going to do, which ones were approved.
In their little,
With the
everything
amount.
points to this quick Title III fund cheat sheet, and then say you have to do that, and we asked this Jerry Drury whether to,
Okay.
But having that in the writing and saying, is there anything else?
Yeah.
Is one more step.
Yes.
I just want to cover all
Yeah.
the little steps. in
No,
it.
I guess it's horrible. Yeah. Lots of compliance
I
stuff.
just want to get it stamped.
I'm gonna. I'll go copy that.
I'm done with you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.